Season 2 of House of the Dragon has come out with a bang with 3 episodes that are showing audiences why the best is most likely still to come from this spin-off Game of Thrones series. There are some things that we need to discuss, so let's talk some hot D.
Hey, does this suit make me look fat?
No. Your face does.
Welcome back to Poprageous, everyone. House of the Dragon Season 2 has so far been a level up from the first season. Not that I didn't like Season 1, but I know a lot of people, me included, felt that the 2 time jumps made a mess of the first season. It wasn't until the final few episodes where Alicent and Rhaenyra were actually adults that the tension and stakes really fired up and the central conflict was finally established. In Season 2, you can feel the intensity that great screenwriting is adding to this series. And there is one thing that I think is making this season above all else a fantastic viewing experience, and I will mention it shortly.
It's cool, I'll wait.
The production team has proven that they are one of the best in the business for world building, set design, costumes, and cinematography. These production elements form the backbone of any movie or TV series. The House of the Dragon production team has created a living, breathing world, a world that is not just visually stunning, but feels alive and dynamic with its own history, culture, and politics that allow the actors to get deep into their characters to create a complete, authentic experience. The story comes alive with believability that very few TV shows can replicate. Hot D is a big screen experience on the small screen, and there's very little that you can fault this production team for. And a quick note, we're a group of independent filmmakers here at Poprageous who have decided to make movies outside of the Hollywood studio system. Like and subscribe to support us, and of course, to just hang out and have some fun.
Sign me up.
So let's talk scripts. In Season 2, the scripts are edgier and more focused compared to Season 1. I thought beginning Season 2 with the familiar shot of Winterfell was smart, to give the audience a few member berries, not to mention the scene at the wall that gave GOT fans a chance to rekindle old feelings and be reminded of the threat that exists to the north of it. The first episode is simply just a brilliant setup, as it uses 60 minutes to efficiently bring a lot of characters back to the storyline. It sets up the tone with child Prince Jaehaerys being decapitated. Damn! Murdered by assassins sent by Daemon Targaryen. I mean, talk about getting right down to business. Each episode presents compelling story elements. All of the dialogue is very well thought out with pacing that provides the same thrilling ups and downs that define a Game of Thrones roller coaster ride, keeping viewers focused on the developments in each of the interconnected storylines. Any screenwriter would emphasize that every scene needs to have some form of conflict, whether it's a physical fight or a battle between armies, or a character dealing with their own emotional turmoil. When you watch this show, pay attention to each and every scene and how the writers introduce some kind of conflict into every one. Episode 2 features an assassination attempt on Rhaenyra and high-intensity scenes at the Red Keep with Otto Hightower and King Aegon. Tensions escalate between Rhaenyra and Daemon after she discovers his involvement in the murder of Prince Jaehaerys. There are exceptional scenes with Mysaria, who is quickly becoming one of my favorite characters. In Episode 3, there is a lot of great setup to give the episode substance, making you eager to see what will happen next in Episode 4. Armies are being mustered for what looks like to be the first large-scale battle. There's even the insertion of the supernatural, with Daemon seeing a young Rhaenyra sewing the head of young Jaehaerys back onto its body. We don't know exactly what it means, but it looks like a story branch that's going to offer up some magic or at least some kind of supernatural power. We'll see what comes of it. In the final 10 minutes, Rhaenyra sneaks into King's Landing for a high-stakes conversation with Alicent. The meeting has a raw, visceral feel as the once best friends finally come face to face again and discuss the confusion surrounding King Viserys' final words about Aegon and the succession of the throne.
Go on.
The only negative that I'll mention, and it's not a huge issue, is that some of the story elements do feel rushed. I thought the Cargill twins and the attempted assassination of Rhaenyra would play over at least a couple of episodes, but instead, it was resolved in the second half a few minutes later. Considering the time needed to travel to Dragonstone and all of the planning that may have had to gone into it, it felt kind of rushed. The same could be said with the Alicent and Rhaenyra meeting at the Grand Sept.
Put it on visual.
The plot point was introduced midway through the episode, and we got a resolution later in the same one. It still felt fine overall, but to some, it may feel rushed with the time elements of travel and planning feeling as though they were just completely ignored. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not a huge deal. Hopefully they've learned from some of the blunders that happened in season 7 and 8 in Game of Thrones. But the biggest highlight of this season so far has to be the acting.
That's something we can all agree on, right?
There are a few actors that I think are absolutely hitting it out of the park. Mark Smith is easily giving one of the best performances again, as is Sonoya Menuzo as Mysaria. God, her name is hard to pronounce. And I'm really loving how she's portraying her character. She's like the hot D Littlefinger. Tom Glenn Carney has found his mark with King Aegon. And the most improved in my book, and a real treat to watch, is Rhys Ifans. He's found that subtle energy with Otto Hightower, giving that character a three-dimensional life and a solid place in the story. But the one actor who is by far the most powerful presence on screen without a doubt, it's Emma Darcy. She's taken Rhaenyra to a level that makes every minute she's on a treat to watch. Her every emotion comes across as powerful and convincing. Her facial expressions are dynamic, and she exudes a powerful emotional energy in every one. She effortlessly and easily stands out to make every scene she's in that much more interesting. Another thing that I think is important to mention is how well Hot D handles male power versus female power. The women of House of the Dragon are strong-willed and capable of great things. They are all believable in the power that they wield and are characters that we are drawn to. Princess Rhaenys Targaryen, played by Eve Best, is just a great example. Her strength is clearly evident with her confidence, internal fortitude, and mastery of being a formidable dragon rider.
I agree.
Her strength is very different from Daemon Targaryen. Yes, both ride dragons, but each has their own strength that is undeniable. This creative team knows how to convincingly portray male and female power and have them merge on screen to create compelling storylines and believable characters. Season 2 of House of the Dragon is simply a pure treat to watch, and it could be the start of a TV series that could ultimately compete with Game of Thrones for one of the best TV series ever made. We'll see how it goes. And that's all I have to say about Hot D episodes 1 to 3, and I will see you in our next video. Cheers.